manipulate me. Sounds like somebody's trying to put young Dave in a compromising position. Oprah.
But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded.
I'm glad you're here. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances.
Today, we're diving deep into a side of Hollywood that's rarely seen and often denied. When stars like Dave Chappelle, Ice Cube, Cat Williams, and Monique speak out about the toxic forces in the industry, it's hard to ignore the narratives that emerge. And recently, Dave Chappelle has revealed insights into his experiences, times when he felt manipulated, controlled, and even called insane, all for standing up against Hollywood's harmful expectations. He's finally speaking out about the shocking truths behind his famous departure to Africa and how he managed to escape becoming a victim of the very people he once trusted, including media mogul Oprah Winfrey. Let's rewind to that infamous interview between Dave Chappelle and Oprah. In what should have been a moment of openness and understanding, it turned into something much darker. Dave shared deeply personal experiences about his struggle, his pressures, and the strange path that Hollywood had set him on. But rather than being received with compassion, Oprah seemed intent on flipping the narrative. As Dave recounted how his handlers tried to medicate him and convince him he was losing his mind, Oprah interrupted him, insinuating that maybe he was stressed, maybe he was insane. Her language carefully shaped the conversation, almost gaslighting him in real time.
I knew I was going to leave, so I got ahead of schedule, and I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. Yeah. Like I'm sitting around, you know, I was stressed out, but the people that were telling me I was insane, I believed that they knew what was going on. So, this was troublesome.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid, like,
But you were stressed out. That's why.
No question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, you're insane. Oh, hey, how about this? I showed up to work the first week, and where my office used to be, they built a wall there.
Why?
I didn't know why. But it came out later that they were like, well, they said you wanted it. I don't want to be walled up at the office. I like hanging out and talking.
What is going on here? Are these so-called celebrities even in control of any aspect of their lives, or do they have handlers, as Kanye West has talked about? What's the situation there? Do they have any freedom in their lives?
I believe they do, but celebrities have to be very careful on what they get themselves into, because there's something called the 5150 that happens in California, where they can recommend that you're no longer physically or mentally sane to take care of yourself. And they put you in bondage, and they pretty much arrest you and send you to a mental ward and dope you up. But that happens in California because that's a California law. And so it starts to make sense why they move every celebrity out to California. You know, the laws and the locations of where they move these celebrities, they're walking brands. It's to compromise them, it's to control them. Have them be, let's say, in Florida or Texas or Tennessee, they wouldn't have those problems. But every celebrity that you see disappear for a while and then go to quote unquote mental health, that's typically through a 5150 contract, and it wouldn't have been a problem if they weren't in LA, the land of dreams. So they sell that dream to you just to control you and compromise you more. So very few are in control, in my belief.
Wow.
Very few.
Very interesting. And then I also wanted to ask you about MK Ultra. Could that perhaps also be playing a part in the controlling of these actors who could potentially be seen as establishment assets? I
feel like the closest thing to that, anything that you can validate, is 5150. I have to refer back to that just because there's no valid proof of us having on documentation of celebrity being MK Ultra. We have other celebrities utilizing that keyword, but we have documented evidence of 5150s being used, and we have documented evidence of celebrities being completely different after said 5150 was activated. Kanye West, Britney Spears, etc. So after it's been initiated, these people come out completely different, and it's a lot similar to the MK Ultra claims. So I just feel like that is a whole lot easier to validate, because I like to stick on stuff, that's tangible. MK Ultra, there's proof of that with the CIA and the government, whatnot, but not necessarily so much on celebrities to where we or myself have tangible evidence to say I could back that or even believe that it's MK Ultra.
Very interesting. Great points.
Dave was visibly shocked by Oprah's insinuation that he was insane. This wasn't just any interviewer asking questions. This was Oprah, someone with massive influence in the media. Seeing her hint that Dave was unstable shocked not only Dave himself, but also viewers who expected Oprah to be a beacon of empathy and understanding. This interview was a critical moment, one that planted seeds of doubt about Dave's mental state in the public eye and seemed to support the narrative his handlers had been pushing.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
Dave Chappelle isn't alone in his criticism of Hollywood. He joins other comedians like Cat Williams, who have called out the industry's disturbing trend of typecasting black men in degrading roles. Hollywood, Dave said, has a history of putting black men in roles that strip them of their dignity. One of the most glaring examples, the expectation that black male actors wear dresses or act overly feminine for laughs. While some may see this as simple comedy, Dave and others have highlighted that this pattern often crosses the line. It's not just about making audiences laugh, it's about sending a message of subordination and humiliation. For men like Dave, this isn't just offensive, it's damaging. It's part of why he had to break away from Hollywood and go his own way.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on and what? A prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh gosh, this guy's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast? You know, it's like, so You gotta take a stand.
One of the most poignant moments in Dave Chappelle's journey came after the death of his father. In a later interview, Dave explained that his father's passing forced him to reflect deeply on his life choices, his career, and the true nature of Hollywood. Losing his father was a moment of reckoning. He saw the lies, manipulation, and constant pressure from people around him, including from those he once respected like Oprah. Dave realized that Hollywood was not a safe place for him, and that the lies being spread about him were just the beginning of a more insidious plan. These experiences compelled him to leave everything behind and retreat to Africa, where he could find peace and reconnect with his purpose.
Morning that I turned 24, phone rang, and my sister was like, Dad had a stroke. For the next year, I watched my father teeter on life and death. Dad dies. And that's hard for a young dude in his life. That's a real tough loss. I was there when he died. He went from being my father to what are we gonna do with the body? Within moments, it was over. And I'm going through all this stuff, and this is the guy I would usually talk to, right? Dad. And I gotta figure this out for myself. I wanna figure this out for myself. You know, I was beat down. I wasn't living right, man. I didn't feel good. And the stand-up stuff was just some angry stuff. It was just like I was kind of bottoming out. Look, man, at that point in your life, it's something so real in contrast to what Hollywood is, a very powerful illusion. When your dad died, it kind of just broke the spell. Like, oh, this is bullshit. Look, I've been spending so much time doing this. What about my family? What about my friends? Wait, whatever happened to my friends? Damn, I don't even have any friends. Ugh. I was freaked out, man, with the fame thing and being called crazy and drug addict and all these things. Scared me. You know, just being treated that way. Like I'm not a person anymore. You say this shit about me in front of my children. And, you know, who the f do these people think they are? And they don't know what happened. You know, I have not spoken about what would make a person walk off the set of a successful show and go to Africa. But again, people don't understand it. So they call me crazy, and I don't like that. Nobody remembers that I walked away from the show twice last season. Nobody asked about that. You know, in one of these magazines, Newsweek, it's a very credible magazine. And they're saying, you know, maybe I smoke crack, and it was all innuendo. And the magazine as credible as Newsweek, I was very surprised that this was happening. And then I gotta make some real choices, man. Is that what I want for myself? Did I get too big? Because I like people, I like entertaining, and the higher up I go, for some reason, the less happy I am. It wasn't the fame that got to me. I love people. I like people saying that they like what I do. You know, there's just a whole, you know, it's like an economic threshold you cross, man. You know, they're throwing out numbers like $50 million. You put that in the paper next to your name, and that guy's gonna have some serious problems in his personal life. There's no question. You know, I like to live a more open life. I don't like to have to protect myself from people.
Dave isn't the only celebrity who's faced backlash for speaking his mind. Ice Cube, another icon in the industry, has had his own run-ins with Hollywood's hidden agendas. Like Dave, he spoke out against practices that demean black artists, only to find himself shunned by the same industry he helped shape. Both men have felt the sting of Oprah's influence as they see her seemingly defend and uphold the practices they're fighting against.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been, you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. You know, I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but...
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too, you know, I don't know what it is.
Dave and Ice Cube aren't the only ones. Monique, another major figure in Hollywood, had her own traumatic experience with Oprah. Monique has publicly spoken about how Oprah brought her abusive family onto her show without fully informing her. Imagine that, a person you once looked up to, someone you believed had your back, bringing the people who hurt you onto a global platform, all without your consent.
And I shared my relationship with her about my mother, as she shared hers with me, which I will never repeat because she shared it with me about her mother and father. It might be something she shared with everybody, but wanted to make me feel special. I don't know. Nonetheless, it was in our moment. I shared with her that me and my mother was not talking. I shared with her we were in a really bad place. I shared with her I was hurt and, you know, trying to figure this thing out. She never said my mother was coming on that show, because had Oprah Winfrey said, I'm gonna have your mother, I would have said, shut it down. I don't need the world seeing how greedy my mother is. Shut that down. That's one of the reasons why we don't communicate, because of my mother and father's greed. So if you had given me the opportunity, I would have said, I can't put my mother, that's still my mother.
Right.
Okay? Now here comes this show. And here comes the commercials. And now I'm starting to see my mother and my father and my other brother, who was my manager. We didn't discuss that, Oprah.
Wait, he was your manager and he went to Oprah?
Wasn't my manager at the time.
Okay.
By now I had already, you know, fired him.
Gotcha.
So I'm watching this show, and I'm watching my father sit there, who was a strong alcoholic. I'm watching him drunk. I'm watching my mother be greedy. I'm watching my other brother, who was my manager, be greedy. I know my family. And I'm watching my brother who molested me sit on this stage, trying to paint this picture of I'm trying to be a help, but now I'm watching the scam. As much as they keep talking, I'm seeing the scam take place. Well, when it was all said and done, Oprah Winfrey calls me. And in that moment, I was still stuck in, this is Oprah Winfrey. How do I say, you had my mother, my father, my other brother, and I'm stuck in that moment. And when we hung up that phone, my husband looked at me and said, what's wrong with you? That's not what we made of. You know how you felt about that and how you feel about that. And you need to let that woman know, I don't care about a title and a position, that's not what you cut from.
These stories, all from black celebrities, are causing a shift in public opinion. Fans are beginning to see a pattern in the way Oprah has interacted with certain guests, particularly black artists who choose to speak out against Hollywood's harmful practices. They have started to call out Oprah on her antics.
Beloved, today's brief war briefing is about our brother Dave Chappelle and Oprah Winfrey. Yes, Oprah. Her buddy's name is Kale King amongst black society. Intelligent black society, that is. Beloved, Oprah has had a long history of undermining black people in general, but black men specifically. We saw the betrayal of her stabbing Michael Jackson in the back by interviewing his libelous accusers a decade after his death. We understand that he was exonerated There was no conviction, obviously, during his state trial. Even the feds was looking into him to investigate and find something. Over many years, they couldn't find anything. So we understand the League of Mammies. We understand when Black-looking people work on behalf of white supremacy. That's one qualification to be a part of the League of Mammies. And the other part is to undermine Black people, mock Black people at the same time. And that's exactly what Oprah has done. When we look at Dave Chappelle's brouhaha with Netflix now and how particularly the white media is trying to malign him and shut him down, I want you to understand that the undermining of Black men was seeded when Oprah reigned for a quarter of a century. This is before the advent of social media platforms, before the advent of even really the power of Fox News and so forth until later. I want you to understand, beloved, that this is how our enemy uses our own people. I want you to watch this brief clip of Dave Chappelle's interview, explosive clips, where he is exposing the powers that shouldn't be, trying to destroy him, lying on him in the media, coercing him, trying to coerce him to take drugs, and watch how Oprah deals with him. Now, did you see that? Notice she shows no concern for the back-to-back breaking news that he's given. She doesn't ask any questions about her zaddy paymasters, but she still deflects and turns the conversation back on him to make it look like he's a nut. This lets you know when your own is being handpicked as tools to undermine you.
Dave Chappelle's story sheds light on some of the darkest parts of Hollywood, a place where fame can come at the cost of one's mental health, identity, and dignity. His decision to walk away from it all and protect his peace is a reminder to us all. Sometimes stepping back is the bravest thing you can do. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the stories that shape entertainment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.